Alright guys, this is the bit I actually planned for you. So, pollinators. So pollinators are very important because especially when you look at bees, they give us most of our food, like these apples. Now let me first tell you the different types of pollinators. There are beetles, moths, butterflies, bees, wasps, and there are lots more. There are actually quite a lot of pollinators, and they all do one thing. They take out pollen from one flower, then put it into another flower to help the flowers grow. So it releases pollen. And while it does that, it also sucks up honey, nectar, which is used to make their products. So honey, and then you can use that honey to make different products. And it's not just the honey you talk about with bees. You can also get the beeswax for different things, like a beeswax wrap, which is an eco-friendly way of making a wrap. So instead of using plastic bags, what you can do is you can melt the beeswax onto a piece of fabric, and then once you've done that, you can use it because it makes the fabric a better fabric to use instead of plastic. And but there are lots more pollinators which do a lot and help. Now we're going to focus on bees right now because they're having some problems. Look, honeybees are under threat from habitat loss. So people destroying their habitats, like deforestation, and then they destroy the habitats that they live in. And then there's climate change. So climate change is where the weather patterns change, and then it makes the weather unsuitable for the place, and then the bees can't live there. So then you lose the pollinators. And then there's also this one, which is very important. It's about pesticides and disease. So many people, they use pesticides to make sure that bugs don't affect the crops that they have. So farmers do that to make sure that the crops don't get affected and have problems. But it's actually very bad. It doesn't just affect the bugs to make sure that they don't hurt our food. It also hurts the bees. Now the bees are the pollinators that are actually giving us the foods. People just plant the seed, and then it grows into, and then there's the flower, and then the bees actually help to transfer the pollen to one another. But with pesticides, you're actually stopping the bees from helping. And it's not just bees, other pollinators will also be affected by pesticides, which are like chemicals used to, like fertilizers. Now, you heard about pollinators being affected, and especially bees having lots and lots of problems. And we shouldn't be putting our pollinators under pressure because they give us food. So what can we do to help them? We can create bee-friendly gardens, so we can have lots of plants that help the pollination thrive and also get the numbers of pollinators back up. And you don't need like a huge garden like they have got here in the Eden Project. You don't need that. If you don't have any, you could just do a plant pot. You could just do a potted plant and just leave it out for the pollinators. If not, you can actually help lots and lots of companies who are actually helping to bring back bees and other pollinators and help them come back to life and help us get food. And you can also avoid using pesticides. Yes, avoid using these chemicals. Don't spray your plants with chemicals or weed killers like that, because it can actually help the bees to go for their pollen, for their numbers to go down, which is something that we don't want. So it won't be helping the bees at all. And buy locally responsibly. Yes, be responsible for what kind of sourced honey you get. Make sure it doesn't affect any of the bees. And yeah, so there are lots of things we can do, and we need, like I showed you earlier, we need to act now, otherwise we won't have a planet. And looking at pollinators is a great way to help us.